What up, YouTube? It's your boy Burner420, and today I'm coming back to you guys with another highly recommended video. Today on the stream, we're going to be talking about multiple times in prison that I've actually seen somebody lose their life. Before we get into this, please make sure you guys are checking the description box below because my merch is linked, all my other social media platforms, and everything you need to be caught up with me on every single platform possible. And with that, let's get into this. I grew up in a traumatic environment, so violence was nothing new. I started getting locked up when I was a little kid, literally 12 years old. When I was 14, I had to go do time in a juvenile facility. Once I hit 18, they sent me from a juvenile facility to an adult facility where I ended up doing 4 months. I got out, I ended up going right back, and that's when I got sentenced to prison. I always heard war stories about prison from people that had previously been there. So I knew it was going to be a hostile and dangerous environment, but I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into. I grew up with this kid named Jeff. Jeff was in a rival gang as me, but we still respected each other and we still had a lot of love for each other. I remember I was in a housing unit called Ochre 1. Now, this was general population, so you never know what was going to happen. You never know who was going to walk through a door, what kind of gang beef you had, and all that. At the time, I was on an A and B schedule, which means the people I was associated with in the gang I was from, we only came out Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, we were locked down. I was looking out the slot of my door where the cops will actually put food in there to serve you when you are on lockdown. I remember looking over and seeing little Jeff walk in. I knew him, so I was like, oh crap, because I knew that he had beef with people that were in that section, so I knew something was gonna happen. I never expected to see what I ended up seeing when he entered the section. He entered the section, and before the cops put him in that section, they rack everybody in, so they put everybody in their cells. He walks inside the section, he goes in his cell, and they lock his door. The reason the cops lock everybody down is because they have to do count. They pretty much go and count each inmate in every cell to make sure that everybody is there and nobody escaped. This usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes, but this day they were pretty quick about it. So about 15 to 20 minutes later, he come walking out of the cell. They popped all the doors, so all the inmates are out at once. He went from the top tier, walking down the stairs to go to the bottom tier. By the time he got halfway down the bottom stairs, he got stabbed in his neck 3 times. And it was so vicious. From about 60 to 80 feet away, I seen blood squirting out of his neck. He grabbed his neck like this and he was trying to fight with one hand, but he got overpowered by 2 individuals. He tried to run inside of a cell, but they ended up shutting the door on him, which means he wasn't able to get inside that cell to try to hide inside that cell. So he was cornered. He didn't know what to do. He started panicking. Ended up fighting for about another 20 to 30 seconds before they got out of the view, and I personally couldn't see him anymore. After that, they took him inside of a cell and they continued to murder him brutally. It took the cops about 45 minutes to even respawn before they were able to go inside the section to pull his body and retrieve it. There's a rule at the prison where if the aggressor will not get inside of his cell, they can't enter the cell without the entire SWAT team being there to apprehend him. At this time, they weren't really racking in, so the cops couldn't physically go in there to help him. So like I said, it took about 45 minutes for SWAT to respond, get prepared, and go inside the section. By this time, Jeff was dead. From what I seen, when they retrieved him, he was lifeless. But I also heard rumors that he died at the hospital. So who really knows? Either way, he's not with us no more. This situation was kind of crazy because like I said, I grew up with him. So it was kind of personal. It's like, damn, someone I grew up with just got brutally murdered in front of me. We ended up going on lockdown because of this, and we was locked down for 2 weeks. Now, like I said, I had prior gang involvement. And at this time I was active, which means I was an active gang member. I had to do what I was told. 2 weeks later, after we came off lockdown, we were out for about 2 days before the cops accidentally let another person that was a rival gang member to me inside my section. I remember seeing him walk in, and at first I didn't think he was a gangbanger because he was a little white kid with no tattoos. He got approached by a dude named Outlaw, threw up his hood, and I realized that he was actually a gang member and he was one of my rivals, and the cops put him in there accidentally. I seen this and I took advantage of this. I walked down the stairs and I said, "Hey, can I help you with any of your property? Your cell is up here." At the time, they were using this cell for storage, for like the mop bucket, cleaning supplies, stuff like that. Now, this ain't where the cops were gonna put this dude. I just knew that this was one of the hardest cells to get on camera because it was all the way in the corner, and I knew that I had to move on this dude. So I looked at two of my friends at the time and I just went like this, and they already knew what time it was. We got him to the corner cell. And after a little bit of an awkward pause, we took off on him. My homie hit him, boom. He fell inside the cell. I sliced him from here to here with a razor. He sliced him from here to here with a razor and started elbowing him in the head as hard as he could, and it split his whole head open. This is when we continued to attack him. Like I said, there was 3 of us, but only 2 of us did it. The one kid was standing on the tier crying because he knew how bad we were hurting this dude and he didn't want to be part of a murder case. I jumped on top of the bed and started stomping on him as hard as I could. When I started to do this, he shit himself. And I remember this like it was yesterday. All I remember smelling is blood and shit mixed together. And it was one of the most horrible things I've ever smelled in my life. I personally don't think I will ever forget that smell. The cops have paintball guns and they have little mace paintballs and they shoot you with them. The cops shot us with the paintballs and they told us, "You have to rack in now." After we did all this, I was pretty sure I caught a murder case, so I was like, fuck it, and I racked in with my friend, which left the kid laying on the ground in a pool of blood. To my surprise, this kid crawled down the tier, crawled down the stairs, and laid on the ground. The cops opened the door and they retrieved his bloody body and pulled him out. After this, the cops came and grabbed us and they took us to Supermax. There was 5 of us involved. The 3 that did it and 2 people that they knew would have called the shot. I was pretty sure that this dude ended up dying, and even one of the cops came in and said, "Good luck fighting a murder case." I remember just sitting there like, damn, I only had a year left. Now I'm fighting a life sentence. 4 days later, one of the cops came in and said, "You know what? He didn't die, and you're lucky. Because if he would have died, I would have caught a murder case." I'm lucky he didn't die because that took my charge from a murder case to an aggravated assault by a prisoner, which is still a 5 to life sentence. I took it to court and I pled it to a 0 to 5, which means I can either do 0 years in prison or the max I can do is 5 years. I took this plea immediately. I was like, I'm not gonna take the chance of doing a life sentence in prison. To my surprise, the 2 other people that were involved ended up beating their case because I guess the cameras malfunctioned and they couldn't really tell who was involved, and no one really said shit. The only person that said something was my big homie, and what he told the cops was, "Hey, I wasn't involved, but if you look at the cameras, the 3 people that were in the corner are the ones that did it." I was devastated by this because anybody that's ever been to prison knows you just shut up and you don't tell the cops no information. I don't care if you didn't get on the stand and publicly testify on me. You still told the cops information that could possibly get me in a situation where I can't beat my case. But that is another story for another video. Now, I have PTSD from this, and I wake up in the middle of the night sweating, having bad dreams, hearing screams. It's just something I gotta deal with for the rest of my life. If you guys could take something out of this video, just know that prison is always going to be a deadly place. And no matter what state, what institution you're in, you're going to see violence. And your guys' best bet is just to stay out. It's not that hard to abide by the laws and live a good life. Trust me, I lost multiple years of my life. Before I end this video, one more time, please make sure you guys are subscribed to the stream, and please make sure you guys are liking and commenting on this video and checking the description box below for my merch store and for all other social media platforms. I appreciate you guys for listening to my story and hearing me out. I love my supporters, I love my followers, I love my subscribers, and I hope you guys know I will never take you for granted. And that's facts.